Welcome back to Native. I'm your host, Sunny Rosario. That's Portia back there. She's going to be joining us today. I hope everybody's doing really well. I am super excited. I'm feeling inspired to get back to topics that made this channel a home over the years. Thanks to all my original subs. It's been a crazy 5 years. This channel will be 6 years old on May 10th, 2019. Many of us on this channel know each other in real life and have had like in real life experiences with each other. So when you're joining this audience, you're joining something very special and something very different on the internet. And so it's really important to contribute to the group rather than take away from it. That's the only rule. Okay? And if you break the rule, you'll know it. You'll hear about it in private. It won't be a thing. It'll just be gone. Okay? The comment, the problem, the energy, whatever it is, will just go away. Welcome to all the new people who have joined us over the last couple weeks. I'm really, really happy to have you here. I have hundreds of videos on this channel, but I have a very different philosophy about how I run my channel. I call it a scrapbook channel, and that doesn't mean that we're going to like pull out scissors and cute stickers and tape and pinking shears and have a scrapbooking party. That's not it at all. I call it a scrapbook channel because I like to relist and republish old archived videos that are relevant to something that's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm saving up all my chips. I'm waiting for Hillary Clinton to do something really epic, you know? Something that really ties into my video. When one of the old pages in the scrapbook goes live, you know it's going to be a hot time in the old town tonight. Fire, fire, do the Charleston. It's a party. And there's another example. The other day, Really Graceful may have broken the internet. At least that's what all of her commenters had to say. Other channels like to take credit, and we may never know who broke the internet. Maybe it was just a really bad night on YouTube, and the little man behind the curtain said, "Stop! Shut it all down!" Maybe all of the antidote YouTubers posted like at the same time and caused like a supreme meltdown. Flying monkeys all ran into light posts and injured themselves. The crystal ball was clouded over and the witch couldn't see the forecast. I think that's what happened. No shade, Grace, but I don't think you broke the internet. No, not at all. The gig is up. The gig is getting old. The staff is tired. They've been working the midnight shift for years. They are low energy. So if you want high energy and you want to be on top of your game, I suggest you hang out right here. Your life is worth fighting for every single day. So stay energized. We can help you with that. At Grace's channel, you receive like a proper education. She's a wonderful school marm. Is marm an insulting word? Is like marm mean old? Marm. Let's see if she is indeed a school marm. School marm. Okay, perfect. It's perfect. School marm. A school mistress, typically used with reference to a woman regarded as prim, strict, and brisk in manner. It's all business over there at the Really Graceful channel. It's always a good time, but you're going to get a proper education. Okay, you're going to walk out a better person. Over here, you receive energy and healing and jet fuel to keep on going and to thrive in your everyday life. Every channel on YouTube is going to provide you something different and special, right? I started to have fun again on YouTube when I remembered that the people on the other side of the lens were people too. You know what I mean? It's really easy to get caught up in the whole thing. And I was like, I started to like have better connections with people. I stopped being catty in the comments and thinking no one would ever see. I think I'm like a world famous commenter at this point because of the amount of time and energy I've put into being a salty little troll. Let's be honest, I can be a salty little troll. And all of my blow-ups have been public. I wanted to have a positive experience again on YouTube. You know what I mean? I changed my mind and my habits. And here I am again making videos with like tremendous pleasure. And I just opened my eyes one day. And thought of all my like friends. And I was like, where did a lot of those relationships come from? And all of the new people that I've made really good friends with as an adult, I met on the internet. So they came from the internet. So I kind of made like a new rule for myself that I wouldn't be friends online with anyone I wouldn't be friends with in real life, like straight up lunch date friends. You know what I mean? And then that was made it really easy for me to treat people online the way that I would want to be treated, and just kind of raise the vibration. And it gave me more of like a focus to my channel and what I want to talk to you guys about and what I want the comment section to be like. And so I just thought, well, if you want really great YouTube, then maybe you should stop complaining about it and stop being part of the problem and make better videos and try a little harder and don't be cheap. So here we are. I didn't want to be stuck in those old patterns that weren't serving anybody anymore. You know what I mean? Well, that's what my idea of a scrapbook channel is like, as something in the world happens, if I've got a relevant video for you that I think you'll find interesting, I will post it in the comments along this one. They'll kind of go together. And if I don't have anything that's relevant, I'll just post something weird and stupid or cringy that I did in the past and let you enjoy it. But it's a limited time only. The videos are available for a very short window of time only, and then they're gone. Back into the cringe files. So get them while they're hot, and the tea is hot and juicy. So today I feel like I'm looking pretty good. Like, I didn't wear makeup except for like right here. I was like, I need to give my skin a rest because I've been wearing makeup like every day of the week to be ready to be on camera for YouTube and on camera for my real life job and like just ready for the day, right? So I kind of was trying to give my skin a rest. So this is my real skin, except for obvious highlight, and then I got concealer and like a full quick eye look here, but otherwise this is my skin. This is my real skin. I wanted to go with the natural look today. But the eye products that I am wearing are Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is a Sephora lip gloss, and this is Physicians Formula concealer. I didn't use any foundation. I just used a concealer, a little bit of highlight, and then eye makeup and a gloss. And so that's the look for today. Oh my God, how could I forget the most important news? So I have created a product. I've been an inventor forever. None of my ideas have gone anywhere. Some of them are terrible and they shouldn't go anywhere. But this is one of them that I've actually executed. It's for sale. I'm so excited about it. And this is a spy stopper. I made this. This is a spy stopper, and it just goes onto your computer to block people from seeing you. So you put it on, and that's all. You can't see anything. So I'm waving my hand in front of the screen, and you can't see a thing. And it's really, really pretty to look at, and you can put them multiple places. So like I have a Mac, so I put them all over my screen, and they look really cute. And you can stick them to candles. Ugh. See, I've got my little candle going here as I film with you, and it sticks there. So some of you guys are going to be receiving these from me in a PR package. So Really Graceful will be receiving them. There's a few people from Facebook and a few other people that will be receiving them. So if you see these in the next Really Graceful video, they came from me. This is one of my favorites. It's called Little Words. I have little different designs, and they're limited edition because I just do a few designs in a particular color or a particular pattern like this one, and then I'm never going to do them again. I have some owl designs coming out probably next week. So if you want these, I'll put the link down below, and you could purchase them. They're only $3, and I ship them right away, and you're guaranteed to get it. And yeah, so I would really appreciate if you would support me in this. Thanks so much, and thanks to everybody who already has. So today I'm going to talk to you about happy ghost stories. Okay? It's if you don't like to talk about ghosts, you can leave right now. If you're one of those people who can't be respectful in the comments of other people's beliefs, you can also leave right now, or don't leave a comment. You have that choice. You could stay, you could be hateful, but you can't be hateful in the comments, okay? If you want to reach out to me and have a grown-up discussion, please do that in private, and don't subject everybody to things that they really don't want to hear about. And if you leave a nasty comment, you're just wasting your time because it's going to be deleted and no one's going to see it. So it's the Halloween season for many, many people, right? And I used to really enjoy going like all out for Halloween. I used to really love it. And not to be a party pooper, but in the last few years, a lot of the American holidays just no longer resonate with me at all, right? And it's been weird. And it's so weird when you're like midway through raising kids and your beliefs change like drastically, and your family's like, why did you just give the Christmas tree to the Goodwill? Like, what are you doing? Why are you giving away my Darth Vader costume? It creates a little friction in some households, right? It presents a challenge because hauling out all of the ghouls from the garage and tacking them all over my house is just not what I want to do. So I made a bargain with my family this year, and we agreed that while I figured things out for myself, we will not decorate for any of the holidays this year. Like nothing at all, right? And they were disappointed at first. But when I explained myself, they understood, and they jumped totally on board when I suggested that we take that money and that energy and that time and go somewhere instead and start our own new traditions for things. And one of the places on the list was Maui for Christmas. So who is not going to be happy? I'm still going to get my kids a gift, and this isn't just totally entirely a spiritual issue, right? Because we downsized our house by half over the summer, and we did it on purpose, and we worked really, really, really hard to make it happen. It's a practical issue at this point. You know what I mean? We downsized our house by half, and we worked very hard to make it happen. We moved twice over the summer to make it happen. 2 full moves with the house full of furniture and everything else that goes along with it. It was a straight up caravan, I assure you. We even lived in a hotel for a few days. We were Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. We lived on room service. It was disgusting, and I hated it, every minute of it. Well, except for the dips in the pool and the sunbathing on the deck. I like that part. But it was chaos. And so we worked really hard. And when you downsize your house literally by half, you become very conscious of the things that you want to drag along with you, right? You are selective. We did that because we realized we were paying lots of money to house a whole bunch of stuff that we could never use. Hardly ever use is not the way to characterize it. And we're not hoarders. We didn't have more stuff than the average probably person next door. We probably had a lot of less stuff to begin with. But we were paying money to have this big house that just accumulated more stuff. I assure you, if you don't like cleaning and you don't like, being a full-time maid and you have other things you want to do not buy a large house, or make sure that you can afford 1 or 2 maids to clean it for you on a regular basis, because you're just going to accumulate more stuff and you're going to have to take care of more stuff, and it just grows. It becomes a huge problem. We were paying lots of money to house things that we didn't even care about and we could never use, right? And so we realized the thought of every person in the family receiving multiple gifts after we just did this massive purge of stuff just sounds terrible. It makes my throat close up. It gives me anxiety. I'm I do not want that. That's the last thing I want. So my philosophy about everything has changed. I cut away a lot of the dead wood in my life and sent it downstream so Tom Sawyer could make a raft out of it or something. I don't know. So my whole life has changed, and my philosophies have changed, and my values matter to me a lot, and I just try to live in line with them. I try to live very simply. I try to be in line with them at all times. So for many reasons, I don't know how to act when it's Easter or Halloween or Christmas anymore. I don't know how to act. My heart's not in it. I'm not excited. In fact, I might even sell all of my Halloween costumes except for the Wizard of Oz ones, because those ones have obviously very special significance, and they remind me of some lessons in life that I always need to think about. The thing that I do miss about those holidays is the festivity, because I'm a very festive person. If I've got a house guest right now, right? And one of my favorite things to do when I have a house guest is to sparkle the silver and clean the baseboards and buy special foods for them. It's a pleasure and an honor to have people over, right? And so the festivity, and then if we get to dress up for some reason, that's even better. Right? Any excuse to have a wonderful party. And not the drinking, fall over dead, and do drugs type of party. It's communion, meeting people that you love and spending really quality time with them. You want to pull out the fine china and, set out the brie and put your pinkies up. So in participation this year, just for this year, as I figure it out, I'm going to share with you happy ghost stories, okay? Because on YouTube at this time of year, every single YouTuber likes to focus on something that's creepy or weird or morally corrupt. Why don't we focus on the things in the world that we want to see more of? right? So I'm going to tell you two very happy, positive stories involving the other dimension that are from my real life or my mother's real life. And I want to share those experiences. So if anybody has other positive stories that they want to share, go ahead and share them around down in the comment section. I assure you this is a place where your comments will be respected. So post away, post with abandon. I will not let anyone harm you if you do. And my team and I broke away a long time ago from the online groups that are negative and the patterns that are unhealthy. And sometimes it comes at a cost because people are like, well, you're not pulling your weight. And why aren't you talking about this? And why aren't you doing this? It's because I want to make a positive contribution and one that comes from an authentic and genuine place for me. I don't always know where things are headed, but I definitely know what I don't want to be. I definitely know the things online that I don't want to be a part of and that I don't want to feed. So for now, as I work through this, we're going to talk about positive ghost stories that happen. The first story is about my mom. And when I say my mom, I was raised by my grandmother. And I actually have a picture of her right here. I'll show you. This is her. We look a lot alike. You might not be able to tell from that picture. But something about her that was also very special was that she was very empathic, very highly psychically sensitive person. And if you're not familiar with what psychic means on this channel, it means intuition, discernment that comes straight from God. It's not necromancy. And that's the type of commentary that will get you deleted off this channel. So don't even go there, okay? Don't try it. Don't try it. Not for 1 second. Especially when I'm talking about my mama. All right? Thank you very much. So my mom and my dad was the vice president of a worldwide company. And this was in like the 70s, like early 70s to like early 80s, like 83, 84. And then he was no longer the vice president of that company anymore. And he went back to a normal life and had a more normal job. Well, sort of. He went into real estate for a period of time. And then when he was done with real estate, he went and had a normal job. And it's so funny that my dad was the vice president of a global company. And before he retired really old, like really, 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 really old. In fact, if people knew how old he was when he was driving a bus, they'd be freaked out. But he still works. He still does things. And he's over 90 years old. We have a long lifespan in my family. And so it was funny, like he just had the craziest life. And so it wasn't like a fall from grace. It was like choices that he made to have the lifestyle that he wanted to have. And that's very much how I am. I follow in that path. I've made my own way. And I just continue to do that now with YouTube and with not monetized, by the way, hashtag not monetized, and my real life business, which allows me to do YouTube for free because I don't need to monetize. So my dad took my mom to England for business. And so when they would go, they would be there for like a couple weeks at a time. So they'd go to Europe, they'd go to Mexico, they'd go to, they've been to Spain, like they've been everywhere. And so she would go with him. And on this particular trip, unfortunately, her father had just died. And she and her father were so incredibly close that it was very, very tragic. For her. I mean, and she didn't have a big family to begin with. And this was the last person alive that knew her as a child. Like there was no one else in her life. She was kind of an orphan as an adult. Maybe some of you can relate to that. And I have good news about family and how you can always start a family no matter where you are, right? A new family can always grow, right? So don't feel like all hope is lost. Because my family actually is a patchwork of people who didn't have families and like banded together magically by the grace of God, you know, it's that kind of a thing. So her father had died and my dad had to be in meetings. Like it was a very intense situation when they were on the road in another country because you're going there on business and you have very important objectives to accomplish. You have to get them done. They're long days. It's not a vacation. And if you're bringing your wife around the world with you, which my dad often did, the woman or the man or the spouse has to find a way to stay busy and to stand on their own 2 feet in another foreign country. And you have to be kind of a formidable person to keep up with that lifestyle. They're jet setting all over the world. and her dad just died, and they're in London. And so that's a very vulnerable spot to be in. And my mother loved history, and so I don't know exactly where she was, but she was visiting an old cathedral with a graveyard, a cemetery, along with outside of the church, a big cathedral and with a cemetery right outside, big, huge campus apparently. And she was walking along the stones, and it was typical English, rainy, depressing weather that's not going to add anything to your mood, especially when your husband's at work and you're all alone in a foreign country and your father, who you were closer to than anybody on the planet, just died. Oh, I get emotional talking about it. And then my mom said a little girl walked up to her and was like, "Hi, are you okay? You seem very sad." And then my mom was like, shocked and invested immediately, right? She's like, "Oh, I get to save a little kid. Like, here's a distraction from all this gloom and doom in my life." And then she becomes concerned, and she's like, "Little girl, where are your parents? What on earth is going on? Where are you lost? Like, what's going on?" And the little girl completely ignored her questions, completely ignored all of her questions. Didn't even acknowledge that they'd been asked. And so for like a whole afternoon, they walked in and around this castle grounds or cathedral, whatever it was, and this cemetery grounds, and a lot. That sounds really creepy, but some people, they just like to look at old gravestones. Like, usually those people are history buffs, not like weird necromancers. They really just are very interested in family names. That tells a lot. You can learn a lot about a place by looking at who's in the graveyard and when they died. So no judgment. There are a lot of people who like to be in cemeteries and look at cemeteries, are interested in the historical aspects and the beauty of the artistry of the stones and the sense of serenity and reverence that are found in the cemeteries. Okay, I remember, this is probably really weird, but I was a Girl Scout when I was a little kid, and we actually think I remember one time where we went to a cemetery, like in broad daylight, of course, as a Girl Scout troop in the summer, dead heat of summer, 100 degrees outside, and we've got tracing paper and crayons, and we're tracing headstones. Like, that's a very strange and morbid, what kind of Girl Scout, was that really Girl Scouts that they signed me up for? Like, do we really know? Anyway, so this little girl hangs out with her all afternoon. And my mom said that she really genuinely did start to feel better. Like, the distraction from all of the things that I'm slouching. All of the things that she was going through really started to lift her spirits. And just, you know how that is when you're like crushed with depression or sadness or grief. And then slowly it feels like someone takes the blanket off your head and you can breathe a little bit, because that's just not a natural state to stay in for a long time. Like, you can tell when the benefit of grief starts to wear off and where you're just, the feeling of being stuck begins. And she said that it was lifted from her a lot. You know, she was able to get out from under it. And as she started to feel better, there was a point in the afternoon where she turned around and the girl was literally gone. Just plain gone. Completely, oh, I got chills. Completely gone. Completely vanished. And this is where I get into fights with people online who are like, "Oh my gosh, that's necromancy. You're summoning demons." Okay, well, my mom wasn't summoning anything. And my mom was in a very vulnerable state. And my mom was a godly person, and she was probably crying out for relief. She was probably praying. She was probably like in that throw your hands, take your hands off the wheel moment where you're like, I just don't even know what to do now. And I don't believe for one second that when God sends what was probably like a little angel to your side to get you through the hardest part of your life, how could anyone ever say that that's evil or bad? Like, I don't have any respect for that type of commentary. Honestly, it made me really reluctant for a long time to talk about this stuff on this channel. This is what the channel was built on. So it's not okay for me to have felt that way for such a long time. So I'm kind of breaking free from that and trying to find that voice that always worked. And I didn't have these problems back then on my channel. I didn't have people coming on here and wanting to have like huge scripture fights with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very different time on YouTube than it was 5-6 years ago, right? So that's my happy story about it. And my second happy story actually involves my mom, and it's fitting that it would because it's October, and her birthday was October 11th. It just passed. We just celebrated her life on October the 11th. And so, similar situation. I was living in that super gigantic house and feeling very oppressed by it, and so I started to realize to myself, oh my God, this is too much. I wasn't able to meet my goals. I wasn't able to get the work done during the day that I wanted to get done because this house was just so oppressive, and it started to have an energy of stress and chaos in it, and it just wasn't working for me. It was a blessing while we had it because we made money on the house. We cashed out a whole bunch of equity, and it was a blessing. But again, it got to a point where it's like that stage in my life was over, and we needed to move on, or I would stagnate, and I was starting to stagnate, right? And so I don't remember what happened, but something really just knocked me off my feet, knocked me off my center, threatened to make me really depressed. And so I went to the store. It was like one of those little Ross stores or Marshalls or some discount little store, right? And there was this coffee mug. In fact, I'll go get it. It's not in the dishwasher. I'll go get it. Thanks. Sorry about that. It was actually in the dishwasher, so I had to get it out. So I went to the store, and they had this coffee mug there. They had this coffee mug, and it says, "You are my sunshine." Well, obviously, my name is Sunny, and that was a song. My mom has passed away. And that was a song that she used to sing to me when I was really, really little. And that was one of my favorite songs to sing. I'm a singer, in case you guys don't know this. And that was one of my favorite songs to sing. I was singing, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. That's my favorite song. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, right? And so I went to the store there, and I was just so down and so out, and I was finding it very hard to move on. I got an injury on my arm, so I have this big old scar there now, and this is around the time that happened. And so I went to the store for something. I don't think I actually had a lot of extra money at the time, and I went there and I saw this. Oh, I'm getting emotional. And there was an overwhelming feeling of peace. And a feeling of my mom's energy being there with me at the time. Just immediately just came right over me. And she was there. She was there to comfort me, at the time. And I don't know, sometimes we don't know how to get out of our own way and just accept a blessing, a little bit of grace that falls from the sky, like the message, like you're like, God, give me a sign, give me a sign. Well, for me that day, the sign was just this little coffee mug. It was like, get your shit together and let's get a move on, right? Whatever it takes, let's move on. Let's move forward to a happier space. Get out of this, right? Stop. But I can get in my own way so easily, and I bet you can too. And I didn't buy the mug. What's wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me? How cheap am I? Like, what is wrong with... I don't know what's wrong with me. But apparently, that coffee mug, that sentiment... Oh, there was two! Now I remember. Sorry. No, I can't show you. I don't want to show you the other one. I don't want to show you that one right now. I'll tell you about it later. But this is the one that really matters to me. There was two mugs together. There was this one and then this one other one that talks about like expressing yourself and not holding back who you are, right? Like it's really cute. And there was this one and this other one. It was literally like your mom giving you instructions. Do this and then do this. Right? And then it's with this crazy feeling, this crazy energy that goes along with it. And it's like the birds are chirping, chirp, 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 and then there's like angels going, oh, and like it's all happening. It's all happening, right? But I didn't take them. Like that cloud, I guess, came back over, right? It came back over, and I went home and I was feeling crappy. And then I had my husband go out later that day for something, and he ends up at the same store, right? He ends up there, and I don't even remember what I sent him to buy. but he comes back. Okay, and here's the other part of the story that I forgot. So this cup was in the back of the store, way in the back of the store where they keep the coffee cups, right? So I picked it up along with the other cup. I brought it all the way to the front checkout area, and then I put them down. I was like, no, I don't want to spend whatever it was on 2 coffee mugs. I just had a new set of dishes. I'm like, I don't need these. So I took him all the way up there. Well, he goes through the whole store, gets what he needs. Don't even send him there. Don't know how he even ends up at that store. Gets what he needs, and he comes all the way through to the same place where I was standing, same checkout line. And this is days later, okay? So I go to the store maybe probably like Wednesday. He goes like Saturday, and in that time, they had not moved the 2 cups. The 2 coffee mugs. And so he's like, babe, I went to the store today and I got this and this. You told me you needed this. And then look at these cups. When I saw them, I just instantly thought of you. What? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking serious right now? So that's what happened. And those cups, I'm like standing there. He hands them to me. And I'm like sitting there. I'm like looking at this thing. And I'm like, did I tell you about the cups? Is that why you got this? Because I was free. I was like confused. I didn't understand immediately like what had happened. I was like, did I tell you that I was going to buy those? Like, why did you do that? Like, it was so shocking that I couldn't understand why he did that. And he didn't understand why I was confused. And there was like this moment. Oh, wow. You can even put them on your coffee cup and make them even more special. He can't understand why I'm freaking out, right? And so then I like cry, I'm sure, and like get really happy, and I just tell him the story. And by the end of that moment, we were both standing there looking at each other like. And what's even stranger was that the way that I got this cut on my arm was from a coffee mug that broke. And it was my mom's coffee mug. And the coffee mug got broken on accident. But to be honest with you, somebody was really mad. And that's why the coffee mug got broken in the first place. I'm not saying who was mad. It might have been me. I don't know. It might have accidentally broke. It broke. It was an accident. It was an unfortunate accidental situation. Like, you know when you're being a brat and you know that like you're dwelling in energy that you shouldn't be in. Like you need to eradicate that energy from your life, or you're gonna have calamity. You're gonna have bad luck. You're gonna stub your toe, and you're gonna break your mom's coffee mug that you had for like 10 years that you like special. The only piece of stuff that I have left from one of the only family members who was living is like smashed into bits. And then it cut me. I'm like, Hillary Clinton, are you doing witchcraft on me again? Like, what's going on? And so it was really profound when this happened, when this coffee mug came into my life. As simple as this is just a silly little coffee mug. The profundity. That's a word, right? The profound nature of the experience cannot be disputed in my life, right? But if you go try to tell this story to somebody like one-on-one, it doesn't always translate well. Like, do you ever have those experiences where something happens to you that's just straight up undeniable God working in your life, and literally like, I don't know, maybe you're not as stubborn as I am, and God like speaks to you directly and you just listen. But sometimes I'm really stubborn and I fall away from that straight and narrow path that I'm supposed to be on, and I complicate things, and I try to take control of the wheel instead of being in prayer and letting God take care of absolutely everything in my life. I try to like interfere, and so sometimes I feel like it takes a whole lot to get through to me sometimes, and I try to be less stubborn. Like that's one of my spiritual commitments is to try to be less stubborn and to try to be less controlling over what I think should happen in life, and just let God move and work through me. Does that make sense? So, I hope you liked my video. It's a little long. I'm very sorry, but I wanted to bring you 2 really cool stories of a positive message, good news and great joy, wonderful things that can happen to you that are psychic in nature, that cross boundaries and break the rules of what some people think is okay. and to give you the good news that family is forever, life continues to go on, and as long as you put yourself in a place of openness towards God, then those blessings and those experiences will continue to happen. And even when you're going through something that's really, really terrible, you're going to have these little bits of grace that fall. No one's ever going to take your problems away. God never said he's going to take your problems away and sit you in the lap of luxury and make your life easy. Do not pray for an easy life. What's the rest of that statement? Comment in the section. Comment down below if you know the end of that quote. Okay? Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time. And let me know if you like this new content.